we're still far behind where we need to be, and there's a lot of opportunity to develop these tools that companies can utilize, because in reality a lot of VIP programs are just taking it as it comes. There is no innovation, and technology right now is trying to break the mold that is comfortable. And the comfort that we find in VIP, especially around technology, is we utilize human insight. We're utilizing old, outdated models that are no longer competitive because everyone is utilizing them. So to stand out or to be something unique is incredibly difficult.
You're listening to 15-Minute Mastery, a show that empowers you with insights from leading iGaming experts to enhance your personal or business performance. The show is brought to you by the AI-powered data analytics platform Blask and supported by tech-driven affiliate and media company Already Media, Lala Stars, the leading casino partnership program, and Next.io, the world's iGaming community. Hey everyone, and welcome to 15-Minute Mastery. We got someone whom I call the GOAT of VIP, CRM and retention. He's the CEO at WarriorLab, a global management consultant, and a good friend of mine, Gali Hartuv. Gali, it's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here, Dimitri. I'm very excited for today's conversation.
So let's start with the most hardcore topics for most of the operators out there. I think this is like VIP, one of the most undiscovered, but at the same time, the most precious topic. Because if you talk about VIP, sometimes, these 20 or even less % of players essentially drive you 80% plus of your revenues. So let's talk about the VIP program, especially developing the VIP program.
So I think first and foremost, it's important to understand that there is no set model. There's no one size fits all. There's no template to creating a VIP program. There is no right and wrong to how big a VIP segment is. In marketing, we always look at the 80-20 rule. And the reality is when it comes to VIP ranges. It could be 1% all the way up to generally 15%. With extended segmentation like potential VIPs or early detected VIPs that can extend further up to 20%, but it's very seldom that we have a VIP segment that is so extensive. And often that comes down to how healthy that program is. So when we start looking at VIP programs and developing programs, the objective needs to move away from this old mentality of quick money. We need to move outside of the mentality of we utilize VIP as a cash flow. We are reliant on VIP to sustain the business, because the reality is you can over-rely on VIP programs. So building a VIP program, the way that I've broken it down is I look at it from 7 steps. Research and analysis is always number 1. Understanding your data, understanding your target audience, understanding the geography that you're working in. Step number 2 is defining the VIP segment, and with defining those VIP segments, the benefits that your VIP program is going to offer. Once we've understood and we've researched who our VIPs are and what we're prepared to offer them, then it comes down to creating your VIP brand. Now, a VIP program is the focal point, but the VIP program needs to present and look in a particular way. And that's where VIP branding is so important. It's not a one brand that you can just throw out and put gold colors and the word VIP and that's good enough. VIPs are spoiled for choice, and therefore you really need something that stands out. You have to be conscious of VIP psychology, localized cultural elements. There's a personalization factor that goes into branding. It's no longer just a creative exercise. It's something that has a lot of thought and planning behind it. Once step 1, 2, and 3 are now out of the way, step 4 is about the team. VIP needs to be managed, and the program needs people to manage it. So training and investing in a VIP team, in my opinion, is the 4th stage to the 7 steps of building and developing your VIP program. The fifth one is personalization and customization. So personalization is absolutely crucial with getting that loyalty and trust factor established. And customization and tailoring that experience at a player level, as opposed to just a segment level, is what will ultimately lead to successful buy-in by your players or rejection of the program due to it being perceived as generic or I would say not authentic in the way that it's presenting VIP. And that once we have gotten personalization and customization understood and structured, communication and engagement becomes the next focal point. And that's where your either CRM strategies come into it, your VIP engagement strategies come into it, and also how you service and manage those accounts through account managers or VIP dedicated support. And the final step, which is technically when the work actually begins, is step 1 to step 6 is now the program has been developed. Step 7 is monitoring and refinement. Monitoring your program, refining and tweaking things that aren't necessarily working, A/B testing various strategies, approaches, methodologies, and that's when the actual work begins. Because now we've outlined how we want to, I would say, run this. Now it's a case of monitoring and observing whether our efforts are actually paying off. And so, in a nutshell, I'll summarize those 7 points. Research and analysis is number 1. Defining your VIP segment and the benefits, number 2. Creating your VIP brand, number 3. Train and invest in a VIP team that is ready to manage this program, number 4. Personalization and customization, number 5. And communication and engagement, number 6. With number 7 being continuous monitoring and refinement of your VIP program.
I really like the way you summarized it, and I think one of the points you mentioned was the engagement and the retention. Because if you think about the iGaming, I think one of the scenes iGaming got is taking care of the acquisition side of the business more than about the retention and engagement side of the business. So I think, this has been, a pain point of the industry for ages. So if you can talk about the CRM strategies, especially the most effective ones.
Once you have your segments defined, once you start trying to strategize the engagement component, retention and part of those user journeys fall into place. So when we're looking at CRM objectives, you need to understand that VIP is not CRM and CRM is not VIP. There are, of course, intersecting skills and focus areas, but VIP CRM has now started to become more of an isolated focus and skill within the VIP department. So CRM methodology has now elevated itself into VIP. And when we look at these strategies, it's breaking down to single user views. We're looking at this from a value focus where less is more, where VIPs want value propositions, not spam. We're looking towards consistency, methodology, and organization, a lot of planning. We are trying to approach CRM strategy as incremental increases rather than volatile and extreme changes, where through the definition of our segmentation, we can plan and promote specific campaigns to targeted audiences. We can then define what would be public or website specific promotions versus targeted individualized calendar promotions. And we start to define those processes internally and externally based on the dependencies that we have within our teams. So when it comes down to actually breaking this down, and anyone who works in CRM will understand that this goes both outside of VIP and within VIP, we're looking at player lifecycle management, the segmentation and categorization of how we categorize players into their journeys. Effectively, you can look at it like an upside down pyramid, where if you look from a business perspective, you're looking at new registrations at the top, depositors and converted FTDs at the next level, Then you have your pre-VIP segment that have started to present value, followed up by the smaller tip at the bottom, which is VIP. And that's your actual funnel. And we always look at it as an upside down pyramid because you don't know what new registration could convert ultimately to become VIP. And that's where having these robust strategies, where to automate versus where to manually execute, how to be proactive rather than reactive, is there opportunity to streamline all communication channels into omni-channel communications where VIPs can communicate across multiple platforms, but the team has an overview on all those communication channels to have seamless responses where the SLAs and the response times are managed to a VIP standard. We need to look at the strategies from what is our bonusing strategy versus what is promotional. And it's important to look at VIP by splitting those two, that not every bonusing strategy is going to result in us offering something. Sometimes it's about managing the expectation or building up to something bigger. And once we execute on these engagement strategies and buy-in strategies, we start to then move into the analytical components, which is campaign analysis, KPI management, and what we're trying to achieve in getting players to engage more. So we're looking at where the players are coming from, the acquisition source. We're looking at the process in behavioral attribution from registration to FTD into engaging with the product. We are now looking into how the player has presented value, not necessarily in the way that they are depositing an extreme amount, but they start to behave in a particular way. So this could be attributed to VIP in a non-monetary way. And this is where the industry is starting to head, that we're looking at not only transactional and financial indicators, we're now looking at behavioral indicators. And this is something that is allowing VIP to take the initiative in engaging players who present as VIP before they even show VIP value. Look at this as an operator. Have we got development strategies in place? Do we even understand the concept of player development, or are we only reacting when value presents itself? And those are the questions that operators should be asking themselves: is what are we doing to grow players incrementally, and how does it fall into the bigger VIP picture?
Some of the things you mentioned right now, Gali, were insanely valuable, but I think they won't be possible without the help of technology, especially the analytics, the predictive methodologies, the user behavioral part. Because if you think about the CRM and its state, let's say 10 years ago or even, more, I think the very basic information you could have obtained from analytics would have been just, rich FTD conversions, and that's pretty much it. So talking about the technology, what innovations you see like changing the game and the rules in the CRM and VIP space right now?
Everyone is probably sick of hearing this right now, is AI. The reality is it's still very early stages for AI being utilized in VIP. We're seeing a lot of AI in gamification, in strategies that are aimed at optimizing player behavior to spend and engage with products in a more elevated way. I think outside of AI, we're looking at data analytics tools that help to facilitate in an automated way things like cashback crediting, things like promotional campaigns that VIPs are invited to, such as tournaments and prizes. And with these types of technology, AI, automation, gamification, these are all being created first and foremost for a broader audience. And now they're being viewed from a VIP lens. How do we make it more bespoke? And I think the biggest area where technology plays a massive part in VIP, and data is everything in VIP, is trying to have visibility and trying to take the relevant data and turning it into dashboards that are simplified, where it's beyond just your Tableaus and Power BIs. There needs to be a use case on how to use that data, not just seeing it, but what to do with that data. And we are so overwhelmed with data and player information that we sometimes lose track of why we even have these pretty dashboards and charts. And we're still far behind where we need to be. And there's a lot of opportunity to develop these tools that companies can utilize, because in reality, a lot of VIP programs are just taking it as it comes. There is no innovation, and technology right now is trying to break the mold that is comfortable. And the comfort that we find in VIP, especially around technology, is we utilize human insight. We're utilizing old, outdated models that are no longer competitive because everyone is utilizing them. So to stand out or to be something unique is incredibly difficult, because everyone's just doing the same thing. Everyone has started copying each other. And I'm hoping that this is something that is going to lead into a change in the industry and how VIP actually presents itself and functions.
You know, coming into this conversation, I was expecting this to be valuable, but I couldn't expect this to be this much of a gold in just, such a short conversation. Thank you so much, Gali. I think this has been a pure gold from the insights and knowledge perspective, and I cannot wait for everyone else to hear this. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.